So your favorite Dobby is back with the deadly 6 questions. Yes, I've got a lot of work pending at home, so I've got to finish this and go home soon. Okay, so I forgot to ask you, how are y'all? I know you're always fine. So okay, let's move on to question number 1. Okay, so question number 1 is, Euclid was a option number 1, answer number 1 is Greek mathematician. Option number 2, propounded the geometrical theorems. Option number 3, all of the above. Greek mathematician, propounded the geometrical theorems, all of the above. Okay, so as I know, Euclid was a Greek, of course, yes. And I don't know whether he propounded the geometrical theorems. But I think, yes. So I think both the first and the second are correct. So because of that, I'll go with option number 3, which is all of the above. So let's see whether my answer is correct.
The answer is
all of the above. Yes, my answer was correct, and I knew it because Euclid was a Greek mathematician, of course, and he has propounded the geometrical theorems also. So, this Euclid, sometimes called as Euclid of Alexandria. Euclid was called by some other name also, which is Euclid of Alexandria, to distinguish him from Euclid of Megara. So there was another person called Euclid, he was from Megara. So to distinguish him from Euclid of Megara, he was called Euclid of Alexandria. Yeah. So he was often referred as the founder of geometry or the father of geometry. Euclid was the father or the founder of geometry. Okay, so he was also active in Alexandria during the reign of Ptolemy. His Elements is one of the most influential works in the history of mathematics. So he has played a great role in mathematics, which means the subjects we learn now in school, mathematics. So he has played a great role in mathematics, serving as the main textbook for teaching mathematics, especially in geometry, from the time of its publication until the late 19th or the early 20th century. In the Elements, Euclid deduced the theorems of what is now called Euclidean geometry from a small set of axioms. Euclid also wrote works on perspective, conic sections, spherical geometry, number theory, and mathematical rigor. Yes, so the English name Euclid is the version of the Greek name, something which means renowned, glorious. Yes, so with this, we'll move to question number 2. Okay, so I'll read out question number 2 with the answers. There are 4 options as answers, so I'll read them all out. Okay, so question number 2 is, the headquarters of UNO are situated at. The headquarters of UNO are situated at. First of all, what is UNO? UNO is United Nations Organization. So where is the headquarters of this UNO? Okay, so option number 1 is New York, USA. Option number 2 is Hague, Netherlands. Option number 3 is Geneva. Option number D is Paris. And in this question, I know the answer because as I can remember, I learned in civics that headquarters of UNO are in New York, which means in USA. Okay, So, I'll go with option number 1. Just to be sure whether my answer is correct. I obviously know this has to be correct, but just to check it out, just for your assurance, we'll check the answer.
The answer is
New York, USA. Okay, so my answer was correct. I told you I was damn sure about it. Okay, so the headquarters of United Nations is a distinctive complex in New York City, USA. The United Nations has 3 additional subsidiary regional headquarters or headquarter districts. These are located in Geneva, Vienna, Austria, Nairobi, Kenya. Okay, so UNO came to existence as a result of the United Nations Conference on International Organizations in 1945 in San Francisco to draw up the United Nations Charter. So, the reason for UNO for coming into existence is the result of the United Nations Conference on the international organizations, which was held in 1945 in San Francisco. Okay, so this UN Charter was signed on 26th June 1945 by 51 founding members. That means at the beginning they had 51 countries who joined this. So, UNA declared, the Declaration of United Nations was drafted by Franklin Roosevelt, Winston Churchill, Harry Hopkins, those 3. Yeah. And 4 policemen was coined to refer US, UK, Soviet Union and China. Yes. Then it has headquarters in Manhattan, New York. It also has offices at Geneva, Vienna and Nairobi. Okay. So, with this, we'll move on to question number 3. This is question number 3, which means 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, how many teeth does a normal adult dog have? Obviously, I love dogs. Mostly, I love puppies. No problem with dogs also. Okay. So, how many teeth does a normal dog have? Option number 1. Out of the 4 given options, option number 1 is 32. Option number 2 is 34. Option number 3 is 38. Option number 4 is 42. Okay. So, if you are ever bitten by a dog, you might know, you might know the number of teeth the dog has, because you all have, if the dog bites you, you will have the teeth prints in your hand, right? So, okay, if you ever get bitten by a dog, just count them and see. Okay, so, as I know, it has to be 42, right? Because more than human, obviously they have teeth. So, I'll go with the answer number 4, which is 42. Let's have a check now.
The answer is
42. Okay, so I told you that was the answer, but I was not sure. But that was the answer. That means an adult dog normally has 42 teeth. Okay, so the dog is one of the most popular pets in the world. Dogs have long played an important roles in the life of humans. Of course, in my life also. It's thought that dogs have been pets for thousands of years. Dogs are often called the man's best friend. This is because dogs help out man in many ways. There are lots of breeds and types of dogs. Dogs vary in size from very small to very large. Some breeds of dogs are considered better for indoor or outdoor pets, and some breeds are considered working dogs. Like the dogs, the dogs who perform hunting, police work, rescue work, and some seeing eye dogs for the blind. Yeah. So, because dogs are intelligent and willing to be trained, they make a great companion and a work animal. Dogs are mammals, of course. Different breeds have different characteristics and skills, but dogs have most of the dogs have large teeth, can run fast, they can jump, they are obviously active, and they walk in their toes, and they have very strong muscles. Yes. So, it's like I am getting, my throat's getting dry, I guess. So, it's okay. I'll go now, have some water, and come back. So, stay right there. I've got some more questions left to get answers done. Okay. Bye. Here I'm back with a fine throat now. I've had some water. Now I'm perfectly fine. After a short bye, I'm back and I have to rush home. Of course, my mommy told me to come home soon because I have a lot of work pending and she doesn't want me to skip any of my work. Okay, so moving on to question number 4. Just 3 questions left. Okay. You have to fill the blank over here. Question number 4. Here comes. India is the blank grower of pulses. India is the blank. You see over there some dots like this. And grower of pulses. Yeah, answer number 1 is largest. Answer number 2 is smallest. Answer number 3 is appropriate for the national need. Okay, I really don't know the answer for this. I'll go with the answer number 2, which is smallest, because I have really no idea about this. Yeah. Okay, so we'll have a check on the answer, right? It's better. Okay, we'll check the answer.
The answer is
Largest. Have you ever visited India? I guess some of you might have, some of you might not have. But you know, India is a little religious sort of country. In India, you see a lot of shrines, a lot of temples. You call what do you call them? Where all the gods and whoever we worship, right? They all, we believe that they reside there. So, we see a lot of shrines, a lot of temples, and along with that we see a lot of devotees always bent for the religion, right? India is such a country and it is beautiful also. So, you have to just try. Even I'm trying for a visit in India. All of you have to try for a visit in India because you can see nice things over there. Okay, so I know my answer was wrong because I was not sure about it. So, answer is option number 1, which is largest. India is the largest grower of pulses. Yeah, I'm wrong, I admit it. And remember, when you are wrong, you have to admit it. Don't say, I'm not wrong, like this is something else. When I'm correct also, I get blamed for Dobson's mistakes. But you know, that's okay. But when you are wrong, no matter what happens, you always have to accept it. If you do a mistake, yes, I did it. It's nothing to be ashamed about, but it's a matter of shame if you repeat it. Yeah, so keep in your mind not to repeat the mistakes you do. Always avoid mistakes. Yeah, but not accepting those mistakes. Okay. So, about 1.2 billion people live in India. The capital of India is New Delhi, but the largest city is Mumbai. Yeah. Hindi is the main language in India and most people speak English as well. The currency in India is the rupee. Yeah, the main religion in India is Hinduism. Yeah, like I told you earlier, the gods and all, they worship them, they are so devoted to them. It's nice to see the devotion and all they have towards their goddess. Okay, gods and goddesses, yeah, okay. The next most popular religion is in Islam. Christians also live. That's a plus point, yeah. One of the most important Hindu festivals is Diwali. I love Diwali. It's called the festival of lights because you know everywhere you see lights like glittering like this, like this, like this. You make the rangoli in the ground, you know, with the colors, colored powder sort of things. You make the rangoli. Then what else? Yeah, you see a lot of lights everywhere in buildings, trees, environment, everywhere, sparkling lights. You know, you feel so lively. So I personally love Diwali a lot. And most of the women in India wear saris and men wear dhotis, right? Both are long pieces of clothes draped around the body in a certain way. You know, right? Some of your mummies and daddies, like not daddies, most of your mummies might be wearing sari, so it's a cloth draped, but they have certain ways to do that, right? So cows are seen as sacred in India. Nobody eats beef, but most of them are vegetarians. Okay, that is the end of question number 4. And here we go to question number 5. What is the fastest of all the birds? Birds, I love them because you know all the birds, like they are so free because they have wings, they can fly wherever they want, you know, they have such wonderful lives, right? So what is the fastest of all the birds? Option number 1, crow. Option number 2, swift. Option number 3 is pigeon. Obviously, I know the answer for this because swift is the fastest of all. I'm damn sure about it. Let's just have a small check.
The answer is
Swift. Okay, so swift was the answer. Swift is a type of a bird that belongs to the family of Apidae. There are more than 75 species of swifts that can be found around in the world, except near the polar regions, southern parts of Chile and Argentina, on the New Zealand and Australia. Swifts look like swallows, but they are actually more closely related to hummingbirds. Hummingbirds, I love that. Some species of swifts are endangered due to habitat destruction, predation and lack of food. This is something which humans do. I mean, this is something which is very wrong and humans do. Nowadays, swifts are endangered due to habitat destruction, right? That means the place where they live, we destroy. I mean, I'm not saying it's always us who destroy that, but most of the time we cut down trees. Like, okay, so suppose there's a nest on top of a tree. What do? When we cut the tree, they fall, then they have no place to live. Sometimes there might be tiny tots inside, they might die, right? So always you have to try to save lives, like don't cut trees, save the environment, try to protect and conserve the environment, then animals won't endanger like this. They won't be in a risk of extinction, right? So always, if you see anybody doing that, just tell them that Dobby told you to do something like this, not to destroy the environment and to conserve the environment. Yeah. Okay. So here comes the last question, which is question number 6. Okay, So you have to match the name with the picture. Using a picture over here, right? So you have to match the name. Here I give the options I give with the picture. Okay. So option number 1. Cappadocia, Turkey. Cappadocia, Turkey. Disco Bay, Greenland. Galapagos Islands, Ecuador. Yeah. So you have to match these names with the picture. So I guess it has to be Cappadocia, Turkey. Yeah, might be. We'll just have a check on it. Yeah, we'll check.
The answer is
Cappadocia, Turkey. Okay, so Cappadocia, Turkey was the answer. Yeah, and this is like visiting Cappadocia in Turkey is like going to another planet. My God, it's awesome. Like you can have the experience of visiting another planet even without going to the planet, that too in the same planet itself. Yeah, in the earth itself you can experience how it feels in another planet. Yeah, okay. So, visiting Cappadocia in Turkey is like going to another planet. Hundreds of volcanic rock formations look like fairy houses. I mean, how are the volcanic rock formations looking like fairy houses? My God, it's worth seeing, right? Okay, so tall columns are topped with domed roofs. Some of the formations go straight, resembling chimneys, where the smoke goes out, the chimneys, you know. Okay, so people have lived in Cappadocia for thousands of years. Greeks and Romans invaded this country, but the Cappadocians yet survived. Many were early Christians who spread the gospel. They built underground cities. These are what they did for protection. So even we have done them in the early history. So they built underground cities to hide from invaders. They built underground traps. They dropped the spears they used to kill, like chew and they kill, right? They used the spears. They used to drop the spears from the ceilings to kill their enemies. I mean, to hurt and defeat them, and they made small passageways through their cities. Yeah, and this is what they have done in Cappadocia, and it's worth visiting there because it's so lovely. I mean, it must be, right? So, okay, to get the experience of visiting another planet by staying in the same planet itself, you can visit Cappadocia, right? Okay, Dobby will also try doing the same. Now, the deadly 6 questions of course came to an end. I'm free now out of a little workload. I have some more left at home, so I have to go. So, if you have any questions, right, you can send them to Dobby, which is me, through the number note 7682122266, which is right over there. You can WhatsApp or Viber, right? And you can send letters writing down the questions to my house. The address is right over there, which is what is the address of my house? I'm a kid and I used to forget them, right? Yeah, number 244.9, Dinesh Place, Kadura Road, Malawi. I remembered it just now. I have a small problem, right? Okay, so you can, if you want to see me on the other days also, you can follow me on Twitter, in Facebook, in Instagram, like that. Okay, so keep in mind, when you do all those things, you have to keep your parents around, right? So I'll be back the next day also with the deadly 6 questions. Until then, stay safe. Bye bye.